Alright, and it's your boy iDef, and I'm back with another review for you guys, and this time we got the Marvel Legends ROM Space Knight. I'm not gonna lie, I got this guy because a lot of other people I follow on TikTok got him, and they're like, oh, he's cool, and, you know, he looks, you know, he does, look at him, he looks pretty cool. Let's take a look at him. You can see his feet in there, actually. You know, their feet, whatever. You can pretty clearly see on the comic that he has some weird looking feet. They took no effort to do that. I might as well go into it while I have this reference. Look at his hands and stuff right here. You see that? They just made it guns that you just put in his hands. And I could just go into a lot of other stuff about this. And yes, this is a budget brand figure. But I just want to remind you guys, stop glazing stuff if it actually isn't, like, exceptional, because as far as the concept of this figure goes, this isn't really that good. Is it cool? Yeah. I'm not saying it's not. And I'm sure I'm going to like it as soon as I take it out. I'm just saying, as far as being accurate, like, ROM Space Knight figure, it's pretty far off. Like, it looks like him, like, you look at it and you know it's, you know who it is, but it's just, you know what I mean? They did not put in a lot of effort into the sculpting, and you can see it. There's definitely new pieces and whatnot, probably, but I need to stop, you know, crapping on it, because it does look cool. But let's get into it and see, you know, how good he is. Oh, and as you may have guessed, we're going to be running through the old iDef system as always. Is the figure in good shape? Does the figure function as intended? Everything that's included with the figure, plus scaling, and then just my final thoughts. Usually a little pose at the end when I'm talking about it too, unless I forget. Alright, and here he is at a package, and I just want you to understand, he does not look this shiny in person. He does look cool and shiny in person, but he does not look metallic like he does. I'm assuming on screen it's going to look like this for you too, but for me, he looks like metal, like, in a cool way. But anyways, yeah, he looks really good. The only issues I can find with him, he has little scratches kind of all over him, and I'm assuming those are not supposed to be like battle damage or anything. I said all over him. It's mostly just like on his bicep and like that little part on his chest. But besides that, he's in really good condition. His joints are a little looser than I'd like, but like I would prefer them to be a little looser like that than way too stiff. So I'm not mad about it, but yeah, no, he doesn't really have any QC issues besides the little, you know, scratches, but battle damage. But is the figure in good shape? I would say so. Does the figure function as intended? Dude, oh, I get it. I really do. I get why people like this figure. Are you kidding me? Like, dude, that's crazy. Like, I was almost expecting that he might not even have head articulation. Like, he might just be able to turn his head. Like, no, bro. He's got, like, full range. It's really cool. Very surprising. I haven't even checked this. He goes above T-pose, which is cool. I don't think there's any sort of butterfly in there. And yes, as you could probably guess, this chest really gets in the way, but it is what it is. I personally, I don't know how you would have got past that, designing it personally, so I'm not holding that against them. Bicep swivel. Also, something I haven't been mentioning, a lot of these Marvel Legends I've been getting, and, well, I haven't been getting them, I've had them for a while, but a lot of them, I'm happy to report, are pinless. It's really cool. Not a bad bend, by the way. And then this is the hand that was on him. It's one of his, you know, little ray holding hands. So it's got that little vertical. Yeah, little vertical pivot. Then the horizontal on this one. I think this is for holding one of his little accessories, which we'll get into that later. But check this out. So he's got the, you know, little top diaphragm joint. Pretty cool. That's better than some Spider-Man figures, bro. And you have to put kind of a lot of torsion on his torque, I guess, on his upper torso. But you can get him to go back a decent amount, but because of his little pack thing, you can't really go back too far. But that's not bad, bro. That's a pretty good forward lean. And you can get him just far enough back to get him into a really good, like, flying pose. But I was almost expecting this figure to have, like, drop down. Like, when I started, you open them up and you mess with them if you're a reviewer, you know. I know some people like to mess with them for a while before they do the review, but I don't know. I like to have the first impression of, like, it out of the box. But, like, I do mess with it for about 10 minutes before I even put it on camera and, like, mess around with it, put it in a few poses and stuff like that. But, yeah, no drop down on him. But not a bad split. Kick is not stellar, though. Like, it's just kind of average. Although he can kick up at that angle and still go pretty armor, which is cool. I'm not gonna pretend I know who they're from, but I'm like 100% certain that these legs are reuse, because if you look at, pictures of him on the comic, his little things on his boots don't go up that high. So if you know, let me know, but I'm pretty certain these are reuse. He's got that little ankle thing, which I hate. But anyways, he does have a hidden thigh swivel in there, which is cool. Amazing bend. And then, that goes pretty far, which we always love that. No toe articulation, so it goes far forward. I love it. And then, I don't want to say it's ineffectual, but his pivot doesn't really, go as deep as I feel like it should, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe what I mean by that, but it doesn't feel like it'll, I don't know. I'll figure it out when I actually try to pose and see if I'm just tripping. But, yeah, I would say he probably functions as they intended. I'm not going to lie to you and say he's pretty impressive for a budget figure. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm still maintaining he's not super accurate looking. But if you were someone who, grew up with Rom, which I didn't, I've never heard of him before this figure came out, but you saw this figure in the store, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, from my childhood, it's Rom, and he's shiny. You know what I mean? I do get why people glaze the figure. I just still maintain, it's okay to call out a figure for not necessarily being all typed up to be, because it is cool for what it is. It's a great figure. It's awesome. I'm just saying it's not a great Rom's Face Knight figure, is all I'm saying. But we will get more into that. So, for everything that's included with him, I get why some people like stuff like this. I do not care about this at all. And, I might use it. And I wouldn't be salty about the fact that this comes with it, but I can almost guarantee this being included is the reason why we didn't get more pairs of hands and stuff like that. And I would always rather have hands than something like this. What do I need to have him holding a comic of himself for? But whatever. You get two little blasties, which are supposed to actually be his hands, but these are cool. I don't know if they're reuse or not. They kind of look like the blasters on there, so I'm not complaining. They do look cool. They have kind of a see-through shiny plastic on there. And I think they will both fit in either hand. They're about the same size, I believe, if not the exact same. And then it's got a little blast effect, which I don't know if this is reuse or not either, but it's a nice little blast effect. And then, is that really it, bro? I thought there was one other hand. You know what? Actually, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I thought maybe there was another hand that I forgot to grab, but I guess not. Again, sorry. So he comes with another blasting hand, so you can have both of them, which is cool. I do wish another blaster effect came with it. I almost want to be a nitpicker and say it should have come with it, but, like, again, I get their budget costs and stuff like that, and this does have a lot of paint. Also, I do want to warn you, on these joints and stuff like that, the paint will probably wear off eventually. Like, you can already kind of see a little bit of wear on his ankle right here. I'm not bothered by it. I expected it, but if, you know, you're not super familiar with figures, or you see this, and this is like the figure you get into it with, because you're like, I can just, this is one of those figures I can imagine someone seeing the Storm back, ooh, shiny, and be like, you know, maybe I want to get back into that. That's stuff you gotta worry about. At least with lower end figures. Like higher end, it still does happen too. Never mind. You know what? Beware of the paint wear. Fist hand. No match. And a review. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go ahead and get some scale for him though. Here's with the Marvel Legends animated series cell shaded Spider-Man. I think they look really good together, like with the contrast and shinies, but also he's a pretty big boy. Here he is with Marvel Legends Iron Fist from the 2-pack with Luke Cage. Again, they look pretty good. I sometimes do research when I do scaling to see if like the characters have met or whatever, and apparently Iron Fist and Luke Cage are some of the characters he's met. So here he is with Luke Cage. And again, they look good together. I like the height. Rom's a pretty big dude, apparently. And then you might be thinking, oh, you know, the height jump, we must be getting near the end of the scale. Wrong. Here he is with Secret Wars Captain America. Again, they look pretty good together. And you also have not seen the review of this Captain America, because I have not made it yet. And it will either be coming out tonight or tomorrow, but I have not decided yet. Here he is with Iron Man, and I won't say it again, but I'm really starting to like the bright and shiny colors. I still like, you know, the dark and grim, you know, figures, whatever, but I'm starting to get more of an appreciation for like the brighter color schemes. I get it. Here he is with the Marvel Legends Ever Loving Blue-Eyed Thing. It was like a retro card. I can't remember what series or whatever, but I won't say it, but you know, look at him. Here he is with the Marvel Legends Maximum Series Hulk, and again, I'm not gonna say it, but damn, he just kind of looks good with everyone you put him next to be honest. But again, I want to point out, I tried to make sure every one of these figures that I scaled him with are figures or characters that he's interacted with and had more interaction than just like a brief encounter. So I don't know. Now, can I say this figure looks bad? Hell no. He looks really good, bro. He's photogenic. You can do some crazy stuff with him, especially if you get a flight stand. Moffuck stands are kind of flimsy. If you tighten them, they're okay. I feel like this thing doesn't have much life in it, even if I tighten it. But anyways, dope. Another thing that would have been really cool, which I understand, plastic cost, whatever, but some rocket effects for his little jetpack thing would have been super cool, because I'm pretty sure he can't fly, if I'm not mistaken. But dude, for $24.99, he's kind of like, if you're into, you know, robot-y looking characters, or just, you know, a neat looking character, whatever, he's kind of hard to pass up, I'm not gonna lie. If you're looking for a super accurate Rom the Space Knight, he might not be what you're looking for, though, to be honest. Outside of that, though, I definitely recommend him. I kind of started this video expecting to maybe not like him, or like maybe, you know, decide I wasn't super into him because he's not accurate. No, he's awesome. I don't have much bad to say, if anything bad to say about him, or, you know, anything that wasn't known or expected to happen with the figure, whatever. Like, he's pretty freaking cool, dude. But yeah, I think that'll be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was informative and helps you decide whether or not you want to pick this figure up. But I think that's it. I'm out.